The ranch house is one of the most familiar architectural styles in America. Low, sprawling and informal, it rose to dominate entire suburbs in the mid-20th century, at one point making up nearly 9 out of 10 homes being built. On today's episode of Homes Explained, we'll explore how the ranch style was born, why it became so wildly popular, the features that make it instantly recognisable inside and out, as well as the legacy it left behind. And be sure to stick around to the end, because back by popular demand is the quiz. The ranch house traces its roots to the American West, where wide, single-story adobe and Spanish colonial ranch houses inspired its low, sprawling form. In the 1920s and 30s, architects like Cliff May in California began adapting those precedents into a modern, suburban house type. The style fused modernist ideas of open, efficient living with imagery of the Western frontier, wide open spaces, informality, and a relaxed, casual lifestyle. After World War II, the ranch became the perfect answer to America's housing shortage. Returning soldiers and their families needed homes quickly, and the ranch delivered. It was inexpensive, easy to build, and easily incorporated modern features such as garages and carports for a new car-obsessed culture. By the 1950s, the ranch, or the Rambler as it was often known, accounted for nearly 9 out of every 10 new homes being built nationwide. No other architectural style in American history has ever dominated the housing market so completely. These homes reflected post-war optimism with open layouts for casual family life, sliding glass doors open to the backyard, and wide picture windows that felt brighter and more modern than any of the earlier styles. The ranch symbolised the new American dream: suburban space, convenience, and a house that could grow with a family. But there was a hidden cost, because with its low, expanded form, ranches actually consumed more space than vertical house types, thereby contributing to America's suburban sprawl. But between 1945 and 1970, the ranch defined an era of everyday American living. It even entered pop culture, with the famous Brady Bunch house being a California ranch and cementing the style as a backdrop of suburban life. Beyond its cultural impact, the ranch is instantly recognisable by a handful of exterior features. And perhaps the most defining exterior feature of the ranch is the unmistakable silhouette. These homes are almost always single-storey, stretched low and wide across the lot. The long horizontal profile sets them apart from earlier, more vertical house styles. And many ranches embraced asymmetry, favouring casual layouts that felt less formal and more in tune with suburban living. The second defining exterior feature is the attached garage or carport, and no other style so clearly reflects the rise of car culture as the ranch. Garages or carports were often seamlessly attached, sometimes even projecting forward to emphasise their importance. For post-war buyers, this wasn't just about convenience, it was about modern living, mobility, and suburban independence. Another hallmark of the ranch is the use of the large picture window placed prominently on the front facade. These windows, though non-operational, opened interiors to an abundance of natural light and created a real sense of modern openness. This was in stark contrast to the smaller, divided pane windows of the colonial or Victorian homes. Picture windows also allowed homeowners to showcase their living room to the street, a transparency that reinforced the ranch's informal and friendly image. The fourth defining exterior feature is the use of simple materials and minimal ornamentation. Ranch homes favoured straightforward, easy-to-use building materials such as brick, stucco, or wood siding. Ornamentation was kept to a minimum, with clean lines and little more than simple trim or shutters. This simplicity was part of the ranch's appeal. It kept costs down, sped up construction, and gave the style its unpretentious, functional look. And finally, one of the ranch's most modern features was the sliding glass doors leading directly to the patio or backyard. This new innovation blurred the lines between indoors and outdoors, making casual family barbecues, backyard play, and evening relaxation part of the home's daily rhythm. It was a physical expression of the post-war dream and a private slice of suburban land for families to enjoy. Just as the exterior reflected post-war practicality, the interiors of the ranch redefined how families live together. And as such, the first defining interior feature is the open floor plan. The ranch embraced a much more casual arrangement than we'd ever seen in any of the previous architectural styles. Instead of a series of small compartmentalised rooms, the living and dining rooms and the kitchen all flowed more freely into another, and this openness made entertaining much easier, as well as reflected the shift towards informal family living. The second defining interior feature was the idea of the kitchen as a hub. Unlike older homes where the kitchen was kind of tucked away, in ranches they became the centre. They often overlooked the backyard, and they were designed with efficiency and modern appliances in mind. They became the centre for daily activities where families gathered throughout the day. And more than just a place for cooking, the ranch kitchen symbolised the shift towards a more relaxed, family-oriented lifestyle. Next up was the connection to the backyard, and the interior floor plan reinforced that link. Living and dining rooms frequently opened directly onto the patio, creating a seamless transition between indoor and outdoor living. This made the backyard feel like an extension of the home, perfect for barbecues, casual gatherings, and suburban play. Finally, ranch interiors favoured practicality above all else. Built-ins like shelves and cabinetry were common, helping to keep spaces clean, uncluttered, and efficient. This emphasis on function carried through to the finishes, which were straightforward and easy to maintain. Compared to the ornate trim of the Victorian homes or the formality of the colonials, ranch interiors felt stripped down and unpretentious, designed for ease rather than show. These choices reflected the optimism of the era, clean, modern, and suited for a lifestyle centred on comfort and convenience. By the late 1970s, things started to change as they always do, and the ranch began to lose dominance. Buyers shifted towards more two-storey homes that promised more space and status. Yet the ranch never disappeared. Its single-level convenience, casual flow, and indoor-outdoor connection have made it one of the most enduring architectural styles in the American landscape. Many of today's aging in place and universal design standards date back to the ranch, since its single-level plans remain one of the most accessible house forms ever built. Today's ranches are being rediscovered by both young families and retirees, renovated with open kitchens, skylights, and updated finishes. But the essence of the ranch remains, a practical, approachable home that reshaped suburban life. It may not have had the ornament of earlier styles nor the grandeur of the later ones, but it captured the optimism and practicality of mid-century America. And now, back by popular demand, is the quiz. So let's see how much attention you've been paying. So here is the first image. Take a look, have a think, see if this is a ranch house, and if it is, what are the features that tell you it is? I'm going to give you a few seconds to think about it, and then I'll let you know my thoughts. Okay, so yes, this is a ranch house. So the first thing that tells you it's a ranch is the low, sprawling, horizontally elongated form. Ranches are always kind of lower and longer. It's single story. We can't see kind of any upper level or any half level. It's got a large picture window at the front. It's got the attached garage, and also it has an asymmetry with it. Now, just because the door is in the middle, sometimes people think the door is in the middle, it means it's symmetrical. It's not. So if you draw a line down the middle of the house and kind of fold it onto each other, it doesn't match up. Now, take a look, for example, at this Georgian colonial. If I draw a line down the middle, you can see how one side is the mirror image of the other, which is certainly not the case with this house. So if you said that this is a ranch, correct, I would agree with you. Here's another image for you. I'll give you a few seconds to think about the key features that you would identify, and then I'll tell you my thoughts. Okay, this is a trick question because this one is not a ranch, this is a craftsman. And the reason I say this is because, first of all, it's not single story, it is 1.5 story. You can see the dormer windows in the middle of the roof that suggests there is a finished upper level. Look at the craftsman windows with the kind of embellishment in the top third of the windows. It's got overhanging eaves. Look at those big deep brackets supporting the overhanging eaves. It's got tapered columns, and it's got a full frontal porch, and craftsmen were all about the porch. It does have the attached garage. Now, it does have some similarities with the ranch, but this is definitely a craftsman. So I just threw that in to throw you off. Here is your third image. Again, I'm going to give you a few seconds to collect your thoughts on this one. Okay, now you might be wondering if this is actually a ranch, because this looks very similar to the bungalow. And again, I threw this one in just to make it difficult for you, because ranches and bungalows do get frequently confused. The red brick is very similar. You know, many ranches and bungalows were both built with red brick. This is the traditional look, but this is a ranch because it's got the low sprawling kind of look. It's got the attached garage. It's got a large picture window at the front. But if you said bungalow, you wouldn't be too far off. These two are very similar. The main difference is that a ranch is wider, sprawling, more kind of car focused, and typically built after World War II, whereas a bungalow is a bit earlier. The shape is more boxy, smaller, typically a smaller square footage, and usually a bungalow has a porch on the front as well. And this is your final image. So again, I'll give you a few moments to notice what features this property has. Okay, so I would consider this a modern luxury ranch. So don't get thrown off just because the materials are different. So the roof is obviously more of a modern standing seam roof. The materials on the side are obviously very modern. There's more glass on the front of this. You know, I think ranch, we typically think of more of a red brick kind of traditional looking front, but this definitely has the low single story sprawling wide form that you associate with a ranch. It's got the very big windows at the front and the big door as well, which is obviously updated for the modern luxury look. The materials also, ranches also have a simplicity of materials and a lack of ornamentation on the front. So this really has a simplicity as well as an elegance. So I would definitely call this a ranch. So how did you do? Thanks for joining me on this deep dive of the ranch. Don't forget to share, like, subscribe. It really helps me out. And I'll see you here next week for more Homes Explained.